We have this from the Daily Mail. I resent it. Nobody watches it because it sucks. Tucker Carlson's unloads on Fox Nation and jokes about postmenopausal fans in leaked videos from his axed streaming show. Now, what I don't understand, this is why, some of these videos came out yesterday and now we got more today. And the reason why I didn't really say anything is because I thought they were obvious deepfakes. I saw people posting these videos and I was like, that's funny. They made a deepfake of Tucker Carlson. Now I'm reading in the news that these are serious videos, and I'm going to show you one that I think is absolute proof these are deepfakes. So I will warn you, there is swearing. So if you have kids and you're listening, we're going to play this video. But take a listen. Listen to this. And for those that are watching, watch the video. Here we go.
Okay, I'm not qualified on that score, I will say. I thought his girlfriend was kind of yummy. Just kidding, in case this is being pulled off the bird. Yeah, the bird. Hey, media matters for America. Go fuck yourself. That's the first thing I want to say tonight. Second thing is, totally kidding, I don't even know what his girlfriend looks like. And if I did, I would not find her yummy.
I think that's a deepfake.
His eyes look
his eyes are floating. Like his head moves and his eyes don't move.
His mouth is like doing this weird
slightly
outside thing. I hope it's real, but it looks
just watch it. Watch it again and look at his teeth. Look at his upper teeth and watch this video. And so you'll notice there's a weird thing that happens that looks like artifacting. Also, what is he even talking about? Right there. There's that part right there. And the hands look fake too.
His eye looks a little weird.
Yeah, look at his eyes.
Oh, the thing with the mouth for sure. The eyes definitely look funky. But here, we're going to take it a level deeper. What if they actually got recorded footage of Tucker and then they doctored it to make it look freaky and off so that people would say it looks freaky and off and then get called conspiracy theorists? How's that?
Or it's actually a completely real video and we're calling him ugly.
I hope
no one can possibly look like that.
Look at the way his face looks.
Look at his teeth. Oh, that's no way that's real. Tucker's sitting at home like a single tear coming down. He's like,
watching this right now like,
well, he should come on this podcast and defend himself then. Yeah. That's really the answer.
I mean, it looks like artifacting. It looks fake. I can't. When I saw the first few videos, I'm like, these are not real. Well, I didn't think they were real videos. I saw them on Twitter and people were like, haha, this is funny. And I'm like, oh, that's a funny deepfake of Tucker yelling at Media Matters. And then it's apparently Media Matters is claiming it's real.
Everyone in this company is thrilled.
Look at his mouth.
You're doing this. I've gotten more calls from people about it.
Oh, that's great. Whatever I got to say, when I came
you know what I think? I think some of it might be real.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like somebody took real videos and then made deepfakes, put them together and sent it so that Media Matters would fall for it.
I completely agree.
Sex, I'd love to hit some of the fine points of technique.
Wait, what?
I've been on yours enough times. It's great.
I think it's totally cool. So let's, if we're going to talk about sex, I'd love to hit some of the fine points of technique.
There's no way that's real.
See, I feel like it could be like everything.
Show. It's totally up to you.
Well, it looks like some of the videos look very real and they add up, and then some of them look completely fake. So like maybe, like you said, there's a mixture of real videos, but then they're like, oh, let's see how far we can push it.
I love the idea that someone...
It's both.
Yeah.
It's real video with tiny bits
Slightly
spliced
edited.
in. Yeah, I was talking about this with Trump. I said in 2024, the deepfakes are not going to be overt fake videos of Trump saying something awful. It's going to be a real press conference where they tweak one word very slightly. That way, no one knows what really happened because everyone will agree. Trump was there. Trump gave a press conference. Trump did say he did not like Gouda cheese on his cheeseburger, but there will be like one word tweaked. The example I give is they'll take something like when he said, I'm not talking about the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. And they'll change it to some of them should be condemned totally. That way, both the left and the right agree. He was there. He condemned white nationalists, but then the left will only ever see the video, him saying some of them. And they'll go, he's trying to defend some of them, and he's not even condemning them all. And then the right will hear him say they should be. So the context becomes different, and no one knows which one's the real one.
Or they're rapists, right? That's another classic one.
But see, that was all out of context manipulation.
But even that, it's like, which there was he? Because he kept saying they are sending there, as in people from there, like they're criminals, they're et cetera, et cetera. But then when they transcript the final there, they put it as THEY''RE, as if he was saying they are rapists in Mexico, as opposed to Mexico is sending their rapists over here.
Right. Saying, there are people there who are rapists versus they are.
It's crazy how
ownership versus...
such a small tweak can make such a big difference psychologically for people in the way that they consume content. Like, I think deep fakes come 2024 and election season are actually probably going to be a pretty big problem when it comes to misinformation.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's unavoidable, right?
Well, it just keeps getting better and better and more accurate and more realistic. I will say, though, my favorite, like, deep fakes are the, not so serious ones where, like, it has, like, Trump, Biden, and Obama playing games.
Yeah.
And they're just, like, swearing at each other.
I saw one where they're talking to Taylor Swift about her breakup or something. I think you're right. The hard thing is people will end up having two understandings of media, right? Any clip that goes viral, there'll be one that your echo chamber of Twitter sees, and there'll be the one that
I feel like it's already like that, though, for the most part. Like, we live in completely alternate realities. Like, completely. There's no similarities between the left and the right anymore, regardless of how hard you look for it. And even when they are, it's overshadowed by us versus them. And I think it's going to just continue to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very legitimate question of how much effect the deep fakes are actually going to have, because the media lies constantly anyway, and they're never held accountable for it. So this isn't exactly going to be any kind of change of pace.
Why would Tucker say F you, Media Matters?
Because they suck.
Yeah, but like, we've talked about Media Matters, but why would he randomly, while being secretly recorded, just scream this out and then that video be sent to Media Matters?
It looks like all of these videos that are taken are right before his broadcast, I think. At least the ones that look real. It looks like he's probably just like chatting with one of his producers or something. That's what I'm thinking.
Right,
Yeah,
but
and if
like
you've
saying
identified,
F you,
like-
Media Matters is very, very specific.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like that's weird.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people know Media Matters is not a very trustworthy
I mean, they've
source.
attacked
Yeah,
Tucker
Hannah
over
Claire
and
says
over
that
again.
every morning.
I
Like,
do.
every
It's
time
how I
she
wake
walks
up.
into the office.
No, I
like-
never think about Media Matters, and I know they wish I did. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, I think for Tucker or, any kind of office place, you have kind of one outlet that doesn't like you, right? So
make
being
fun
able
of
to
them.
say, like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, like,
That's true.
F
I will
this
say,
one.
Media Matters does write some great hit pieces. Their hit pieces are always entertaining through and through. They're one of my favorite companies to get hit pieces written on.
The best is they wrote a best of list of Timcast IRL episodes, and the best part was Seamus wasn't on it.
I wasn't on it. I was so upset.
Disgraceful.
That's what I said. I said the same thing Tucker said to Media Matters. I would
Well, it
never
was just-
say that on air.
it's-
Swears are bad.
It's funny because they were trying to find any episode where someone said something offensive, and they'd find someone who said something that was like marginally warm, like
Just
and then
mild.
Like,
here's-
they could squint and turn their head and make it bad.
And then here's Seamus, who's on the show for like 7 months, arguing that gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married.
just that, well, not that they shouldn't be allowed, but that it's literally not possible. Gay marriage doesn't exist.
They just don't want to give you attention.
And they wouldn't even
didn't-
put your name on
Yeah,
the
exactly.
list.
That's not the definition of marriage. But they did put a clip of me up in one of their articles, and the way they labeled it was they said Timcast host says marriage equality is bad, making it sound like it's you. And so people were sharing the article going, this is why we can't trust these people who say they're disaffected liberals. He's uttering right-wing talking points. I was like, I said that. That was me.
I thought they
And then
attributed it to
Jezebel,
Ian.
and no, Jezebel did that. Jezebel took one of my greatest
Said it
hits,
was
one of
Ian.
my best quotes about no-fault divorce and how horrible it is and how people would be more selective about who they chose to marry if that wasn't on the table. And they attributed it to Ian. They gave,
Out of all
they
people,
gave-
they
I know.
give it
They
to
have
Ian.
literally not watched this show.
They're like,
most mild person.
Was it like the traditional Catholic or like the New Age like hippie guy? Who do we think said this here? I mean, it's possible Ian was saying things. It's possible Ian was saying things against divorce as well. But they
No.
just
I
took
like
one
the
of my
idea.
quotes. Ian was like, divorce is super based, and they're like, Ian Crossland said, never allow anyone to get divorced for any reason.
Is it the trad Catholic or the hippie guy?
Yeah.
I like the
Hippie
idea
guy.
that they know you want the attention, so they're like, we're not going
Exactly.
to quote him.
That's why in their league footage they're like, F you, Ian Crossland.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
I'm
No,
like,
but
no,
wait-
they meant that for me.
With the Timcast list, what I remember is on Twitter, everyone being like, thank you so much for this honor, Media Matters. Like, I did appear on Timcast. Thank you so much. Like, it's sort of its own joke. I mean, I'm sure there are people who trust Media Matters and feel as though this was a true
I don't understand
condemnation.
how.
But, I could name a handful of organizations that, like, if you get a label from them, it doesn't mean anything
No.
because they are so biased and they are so unethical.
Recently, Vice did a kind of like semi-hit piece on me regarding my drag coverage and said that I lied about this and exaggerated and said that, a little girl was left unattended. And then now they're out of business.
They're out of business because they lied about
Look
you.
at that.
'Cause they came after you.
Because they lied about me. I mean,
you're
Got
power.
power,
I posted that meme on Twitter. Let me pull it up.
I just want to mention something about this. Part of why they have so much difficulty rating. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's look at this real quick first. Actually, it's super funny.
It's a super ripped Sheba saying, it's like Vice. Then I will go to the most war-torn places on earth to expose the dirty politics. Now, 10 reasons why SpongeBob is homophobic.
That's so based.
I mean, but it's like true because I worked there and then I left. And, it was like I was in Ukraine at the start of the protest, which eventually turned into conflict. I was in Turkey during the Gezi Park riots and the tear gas and all that stuff. I was in Egypt during the revolution. And then they decided that they wanted to complain about feminist nonsense.
Yep. See, we need a right-wing version of Vice. And not even necessarily like a right-wing. We just need a new Vice. Somewhere that's going to go in these war-torn countries and expose these things and do these drug documentaries and all the great work that they used to do. We just need to bring that back, but with a little bit of a twist because they don't want to do it anymore. I feel like I was just going to mention applies to all journalists nowadays.
100%. Yeah, it's all about people call themselves journalists when they're opinion columnists. But going back to what I was saying a moment ago here in the conversation on Media Matters and how poorly they label conservative talking points and their limited understanding of where the Overton window is with conservative thought because they consider all of it to be horrible. Part of this is a product of the fact that the left very poorly understands what conservatives actually believe. Jonathan Haidt's research has shown this, that conservatives have a far better understanding of what liberals believe than liberals have of what conservatives believe. And anyone who's ever had a conversation with someone on the left can tell you that. And so they assume that we're all sort of at the same place on the political spectrum, or where we are on the political spectrum doesn't matter. And it ends up manifesting itself that way. A few years ago, there was research done on YouTube and how it radicalizes young people. And there were these really milquetoast libertarian organizations that got put to the right of me. I remember thinking that I know that guy. He's super libertarian. He's absolutely to the left of me. Why? And then they put him as like far right and put me as like a centrist conservative. I was like, what are you talking about?
Have you ever seen those videos? I think The Cut does them where you'll get like a group of girls and they have to like rank themselves in order of like attractiveness or something. And then
Jubilee.
they bring in guys.
Then it's the complete opposite.
Yeah. Like, no one has any idea what the scale is supposed to be.
My favorite was when there was this snooty woman. They did this one where it was like rank yourself IQ.
Yep.
And this woman was just talking about how smart she was, and it turned out she was the stupidest.
Has
person.
all these majors and everything, and then the one person without like any majors ends up being the smartest out of all of them. I think there was a study done too, where like correlates like testosterone levels and political views. And as people start working out, like if liberals start working out and their testosterone raises, and as it's a continuous raise, their ideology quite literally shifts to more conservative, and it's correlated with testosterone.
Mandatory boot
as well.
camp. Every American mandatory boot camp. Get that testosterone. Everyone's got to eat a steak. That's why they want you eating bugs and being vegan, because it lowers your testosterone and makes you frail and dainty.
You want to know what's really funny?
If that's what you want to be, by all means, Bud Light's waiting for you.
Because you mentioned
Estrogen,
this,
gotta love it.
When my grandfather was young, he thought he was going to be a priest, so he spent the ages of like 12 to 20 in a seminary, and then he ended up fighting in the Second World War. And he said basic training in the army was easy because of how difficult it was in the seminary. Like that's how we used to train priests. They had to be super hardcore. They had to be able to do really difficult things. Yeah. And now, not just the priesthood, but everything that a person needs to receive any kind of education to do is so unbelievably watered down that we can't expect anything of them.
I mean, the shows, like the drag shows that I go to, a lot of them are hosted in churches.
Oh my gosh.
Almost every single time, it is a woman who is a priest, and she's, lesbian this, lesbian that. And
not a priest. Yeah.
Not a priest.
Exactly. Certain Christian denominations allow priestesses, even though there's no such thing as a priestesshood founded by Christ anywhere in Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
That's Episcopalian. Is that the religion?
Episcopalians do it. There's a number of like.
I think there was a Baptist.
Tucker's Episcopalian.
Yeah.
Episcopalians are
I am
notorious
also Episcopalian.
For this.
We do they did allow it. It's one of the reasons I left the church. But like Baptists allow it. The United Methodist Church in Texas, or like
the Methodist churches are always the ones with the trans flags.
They're everywhere. Yeah. And like I have friends who grew up very liberal, and they specifically seek out progressive churches. So having a female priest is a way to say like, hello, it's us. We are part of the left ideology. But I think ultimately it is a a sign that they are selling their theology to be a part of culture. Well, you'll hear often, I know I heard this a lot when I was going to Anglican and Episcopalian churches, was that, church attendance is down. So we have to find a way to appeal to the young people. And so, what a great idea is? We'll put up our rainbow flag and we'll get a lady priest. And it's never the way.
Did you ever see the video of the church that like painted the rainbow everywhere, and then that one guy came by as she was painting the rainbow? He's like, what are you doing? Like, this is a disgrace. Like, you call yourself a Christian? Like, tell me where it says this is allowed in the Bible.
Yeah.
And she couldn't tell him. And then
did she explain that the rainbow is God's covenant?
It's meant for the sky and not outside your church.
Well, still, you gotta take the rainbow back.
Well, I think some people came back.
I did have a
was
take the
doing
rainbow
it.
back movement.
That's not why she was doing it.
Yeah, but embrace the rainbow. Taste it.
Dude, look, these churches will do this.
That marketing got you if you just did that.
I know. They got me.
Dude,
I saw those commercials so many times
in your own
as a
scripture,
kid.
and you're talking about eating candy.
I know. I'm thinking about Skittles. I'm like, wait a minute. It's a promise.
Thinking about that red 40.
But this happens so often where these churches will go, how do we get young people? Let's be the way the world is. Well, hold on. The reason they're out in the world and not in churches because they want the world and not the church. And if you're just going to offer what the world has, you're not going to attract anyone. It would be like if a conservative organization was going, there's a lot of left-wing people subscribe to these left-wing platforms. Maybe Timcast needs to become more progressive. No, that's not the point. That's literally the reason people go to Timcast is because it's not offering what most worldly press outlets are offering with respect to progressivism, right? And the reason people go to church is because they don't want what the world is offering. So stop trying to give people a watered down version of it.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.